Thank you, Ted.
Thanks a lot, Alex.
Always good to have him pop in occasionally with us. Well, for the balance of the hour, the end of the show, I'm very honored to have Alan Colmes on. I've been on his show quite a few times, and he's been here with us a few times. And I don't agree with him on quite a few issues, but I do agree with him against torture and secret arrest and war and all the rest of it. And we've now seen 11 months of President Obama in office. I want to get his take on the president and what the Republicans are doing and what's going to happen when Republicans get back in office in a year and then they continue to go down the same line as Obama has. What's going to happen as the public figures out both parties are controlled by the same corporate interests? Maybe Alan disagrees, but certainly the patience of the American people is running out. The honeymoons for politicians are shorter and shorter. Alan Colmes, of course, the host of the Alan Colmes nationally syndicated radio show that airs throughout the United States on Fox News Radio. And, of course, he also co-hosted from 96 to 2009, the co-host of Hannity and Colmes, a nightly political debate show on Fox News. And he's also written Red, White, and Liberal, How the Left is Right and the Right is Wrong. See, I believe the right and left don't exist. Colmes began his career in stand-up comedy. That's a funny joke about left and right. And he developed his radio career in the Northeast, eventually at stations like WABC, WNBC, and on and on and on. And it's good to have Alan Colmes up with us. Alan, thanks for coming on.
Alex, I don't think I ever gave you as good an introduction as you just gave me, so thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You bet. You bet. Alan, look, I don't want to sit here and attack you. You don't really attack me too bad when I come on your show.
No.
But come on, man. Obama, the Peace Prize, 40,000 more troops to Afghanistan.
That he got the Peace Prize? Is it Obama's fault? You want to blame him that he got the prize?
Well, does he deserve it?
I would have waited. But, I mean, why attack him for a prize someone else gave him?
But it just shows the delusional socialist
elite. It's not him. He didn't do it. I mean, maybe you don't like that he got the prize, and I think he's got a lot to prove. Look, I've got an issue with him on Afghanistan. I want a decision made. I want to get out of Afghanistan. We probably agree on that. I don't want another quagmire like we had in Iraq, and I think he needs to earn that prize. But it's not his fault that he got it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's a good one-liner, Alan, but regardless of the fact, it's embarrassing that he got it, and I think it blew up in everybody's face.
Embarrassing, but it's not embarrassing to him. He didn't give it to himself.
I'll tell you what is embarrassing for sure, and I do think it's embarrassing. It shows all this worshiping, this fawning, like he's Gandhi and Martin Luther King rolled up into one when he hasn't done 1/100th of what they did. Now, that's my opinion. I just think it diminishes the prize.
Look, I think obviously there was a great deal of excitement about the campaign. He offered a lot of hope to people at a time when the country seemed hopeless, when we had a lot of problems because of the Bush-Cheney regime. And people were looking for something, and he came along and was the right charismatic character at the right time. Now he's got to do the work, and obviously he can't live up to the hype. Nobody can. Look, I'm more progressive. I want to see him be more bold. I want to see him close Guantanamo by executive order. Do it tomorrow. I'm glad they're doing trials in civilian court. Show that our criminal justice system works. I want to see him get out of Afghanistan. I want to get out of Iraq faster. I want him to stand up for something in terms of health care. The public option, on the table or off the table. Where does he stand? From a progressive point of view, I'd like to see a bolder approach by the president.
Alan, quick 60-second comment because we're going to break. You're doing the syndicated show. What else are you up to these days?
I appear on the channel, probably working on a book, do my website, alan.com, and developing other television projects.
So you're busy. Yeah, a full-time syndicated nightly, 3-hour show?
Well, you know what it takes to do a daily radio show. That alone is a full-time job.
You know, I don't know how you and Hannity and others could do it. Multi-hour radio shows and then a highly produced TV show every night.
A lot of good help, a lot of great staff, and the people who help you things not fall through the cracks.
Okay, this is a long break. We're going to come back to you. I want to get into Afghanistan. I want to talk about a host of issues with Alan Colmes. I want to get the answer to that question I threw out. But I threw out so many, I don't blame him for not answering it. This political crisis in America, in that no matter what party we put in, the status quo continues. Where does he see that going? Alan Colmes is our guest. I'm Alex Jones. Alan Colmes with us till the end of the broadcast here in about 35 minutes from now. Alan.com is his website, and ours is prisonplanet.tv, jonesreport.com. Alan, you heard my question. I mean, I'm really worried about this country because the establishment keeps baiting and switching with the two parties, and I really don't see that big of a difference when it comes to monetary and economic policy. Bush's economic team, basically is Obama's team in many respects, and a lot of it came from Clinton. And all the economists I have on, from the fake left and right, the whole system, say that this is going to destroy us. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't know if it's going to destroy us. I mean, no one even saw the economic collapse coming a year and a half ago. But, Alex, you generally don't like who's in office. You see the two parties are similar. You don't think anybody's got the solution. Who would you support? I'm just curious because you seem to be against whoever we elect at any given election, and you don't think anybody's got the answers. Who does?
Well, no, that's because the establishment, because of the billions of dollars spent on the election cycles every couple years, is able to select people they already approve of, and then we get to choose from a small, cloistered group of little potentates. And so I'm for Ron Paul. I like Ron Paul. He was anti-war when Bush was in. He's still anti-war. Right. Ron Paul does what he says. I don't even like a lot of the policies of Dennis Kucinich, but I would vote for him over most people because he actually believes in what he's saying and does what he says. Yeah,
people actually fantasize about a Paul Kucinich or vice versa ticket, which seemed implausible and probably wouldn't win. But look, I don't know the answer to your question. I'd like to believe that the stimulus will work. The market's gone back up. I'd like to believe it's going to open up the credit markets. They said it's going to take till 2010 before we get some kind of financial or jobs back. It took a while to get to this place. It's going to take us a while to get out. I'm not an economist. I don't have the answers.
Well, I'll just say this. It's a political cheap shot. As much as I hate George W. Bush and the neocons, I believe they were involved in 9/11, as you know, Alan.
Yeah.
But as bad as they are...
I get email from people who agree with you almost on a daily basis.
My issue is to have Obama's people blaming the economic collapse on Bush when it was the Clinton people that got rid of Glass-Steagall. He is as much to blame, his crew is as much to blame as the Republicans.
Well, it's easy to say that. Look, it was Bush who was in office when the collapse happened. It was the deregulation of Republicans. It was the idea that Bush had this thing about the community redevelopment program. Anybody can own a home. That started under Clinton. Bush took it, though, a step further. No mortgage. Don't worry. We'll get you a home. You don't have to have a lot of credentials. And that was the thing that the Republicans were pushing, home ownership for everybody when everybody was not qualified to do it. That caused the collapse of Freddie and Fannie.
Which is my point. The same people... Well, McClatchy's come out with a big list of reports. They got internal documents from Goldman Sachs where 2 years before the collapse, they were secretly betting against housing while they were telling all their clients to buy housing because they wanted to consolidate the market. Are you for auditing the private Federal Reserve, Alan?
I don't know a lot about the Federal Reserve. I know that libertarians and people who agree with you often will bring up the Federal Reserve. Again, I'm not an economist. It's not an area that I really know a lot about. So I'm not educated enough to give you an intelligent answer to that question.
That's ridiculous. You can't punt on this, Alan. Come on, tell me.
I don't know.
The Federal Reserve has never been fully audited. Don't you think there should be transparency?
Let them audit it, fine.
Good. Alan Colmes for auditing the Fed. That's beautiful. Briefly, before we go to break, long segment coming up, what do you think would fix America? Where do you stand on Afghanistan?
I want to get out. Why are we spending all this money? Why do we diddle around about health care and people complain about how much money it's going to cost and people yell and scream about where their tax dollars are going? But when it comes to war, nobody questions how long will it be, what will it cost, what's our exit strategy, how much taxpayer dollars are going, how are we going to pay for it? Are our children and grandchildren going to pay for it? Why does nobody ask those questions when it comes to war, but only when it comes to social services?
How big a part of the war and the whole defense budget, how big a piece of that is it? Isn't that like 45% of all the expenditures is related to defense?
I don't know the exact number. A huge amount of the budget goes to defense. We know that. A disproportionate amount goes to defense. A small amount goes to welfare, to public good, to social programs, and yet those are the things the conservatives scream about, but most of their dollars are going elsewhere.
So in the final equation, where do you think this country's going to be in 5 years?
I couldn't have predicted we'd be where we are now. Who would have thought Obama would be president? Who would have thought the economic collapse? Anybody who tells you now what they know is going to happen in 5 years is just shooting in the wind.
I don't know. I said 5 years ago gold would be $1,000 an ounce in 5 years, Alan.
Well, you're a genius.
You heard it from Alan Colmes. Audit the Fed, and I'm a genius.
Yeah.
Hey, I like it. Alan, stay with us. I got some real questions coming up after this break.
We're on the march. The empire